Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Live from the virtual Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit, welcome sim racing fans to the Apex Racing League GT Trophy, live on Apex Racing TV. Happy that you can join us on this beautiful Tuesday evening. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Alongside with me in the commentary box is Jim Hodgson, with Dennis Branch down in the production trailer, controlling all of the cameras and overlays. And we want to welcome you to the next round of the ARL GT Trophy. We started out a great championship. Round 1 at Spa went off without a hitch. Round 2 at Interlagos started to get the cream of the crop, rising up to the top of the leaderboards. And now we enter round number 3. The championship favorites are going to start to peek their head through, and it is time to get going here in qualifying. 10 minutes of qualifying here at the Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit, one of the most famous circuits in the world. And Jim, we've seen this circuit, whether it's F1 cars, Porsches here on the surface. It's of course a part of the 24 hours of Nurburgring circuit as well, but we're seeing just the Grand Prix circuit here with the GT cars. This is a very unique circuit, especially with those curbs. A lot of people don't like them, but you can use them a little bit for speed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to see, certainly over the course of this race, well, we've got a ton of cars on track as per usual, all the action we can stand and more. I think we're going to see some people use those curbs to their advantage, and other people probably saying some very short and very nasty words after they wrong-footed on the curbs.
Well, we had a bit of that a couple of weeks ago in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. Came here to the Nürburgring Grand Prix. And right now, each of our drivers taking to the track. 2 classes here in the Apex Racing League GT Trophy, GT3 and GT4. And then 2 divisions of each of those classes are the Pro and the AM class of both GT3 and GT4. So we'll be watching 4 sets of points throughout the season here to crown different champions. As we take a look at August Gramelli getting those tires warmed up, ready to go behind the wheel of that number 289 Mercedes. He making his way out of Dunlop curve. Then making his way up to the Michael Schumacher-esque, getting those tires warmed up and all set to go for his first timed lap. Nobody putting in a timed lap just yet. Everybody getting on stuck into their qualifying laps as we take a look at one of the Hell Racers Gluttony drivers, Stellan Lindberg.
Yeah, you know, I hope, Josh, and I think we will probably have it again since we have for the rounds that we've had so far. But, you know, just looking over at the timing tower set up the way it was now just from practice, not fully done with qualifying, of course, but I'm seeing a lot of colors mixed in with one another, which is pretty regular. We do see that in this series. It's just one of the things that makes it so much fun.
On the bottom of the screen, we're going to start to see those qualifying times work their way in. You can look at Guyton Anger for Optimal Sim Racing. He is your current points leader in the GT3 Pro category, but he only leads by 1 point over Nick Madsen in the 85. It's those two commanding the lead in the GT3 Pro class. Rickard Carlson, Will Orton, Matthias Beer rounds out the top 5 there. Very close, each of them in the point standings. Looking further back, GT3 AM, Andrew Broom and Tom Bingham come into this round, round 3. Tied for the championship, Dennis Lempka, only about 5 points back from both of those leaders, Manuel Wacker and Andy Thompson, both tied for the 4th spot at 41 points. They're only 12 back from your 2 lead cars, so a lot of action going on in the GT3s when it comes to points. Also close points in the GT4 Pro category, where we have Christo Ublev, 89 points, ahead of Morgan Alio with 86 points. So 3 points separate the top 2 in GT4 Pro. And then down to GT4 AM, a 3-way tie for the lead currently between Michal Velikov, Daniel Markov, and Mike Pollard, all with 68 points. And Mark Silcock, Chris Rear, very close together as well, 8 and 11 points back respectively. And that is where all of your points sit currently as we head into this round. And you can see qualifying continuing on the racetrack as currently fastest Nicholas Helm for Hell Racers Tershine up at the top with the best lap of 1:56.446. And you can see Andrew Broom topping GT3 AM there, 7th overall. The laps starting to come in. Remember, you can see all of these laps and you can see where each driver is running on the course as well when you go to our live timing. ApexRacingTV.com/live timing. You can see the screen. You can have selections for watching our live stream here on YouTube, the live timing screen where you can see a full breakdown of all the timing going on the racetrack, a live track map, see where your favorite driver is running, live events, see exactly what's going on the racetrack, overtakes, leaving pit lane, entering pit lane, crashing, yellow flags, green flags, you can see all of it there. And you can even click the league button. It'll take you exactly to ApexRacingLeague.com. You can see the points and all of the other active leagues going on right now for the Apex Racing League. So hit that link in the chat room or head over to ApexRacingTV.com/live timing to take a look at all of that right at your fingertips. More cars coming across the line for qualifying. 4 minutes remain for these drivers to get their laps in as we take a look at Ross Giel trying to improve. He's currently 7th overall, 157.030. He does not improve on his best.
No, he does not, but he is a Welshman, which means he has one of the coolest flags. I do love that dragon over the green and white background. You know, Josh, it seems to me, just looking at the results, that we are in a similar position that we've been in before, which is that the lead driver in GT4 AM, that's Markov, is ahead of the fastest driver in GT4 Pro, that's Mergim Aliyu. So it'll be interesting to see if he can hold on to that place. Although now, even as I say that, it looks like Aliyu has just gone a few tenths faster than
Battle at the front of the GT4s for qualifying. Elio is faster than Markov, albeit by just a little bit. 2:04.94 best for Elio, and a 2:05.13 for Daniel Markov, your fastest. Taking a look at Piotr Matzak, 4th overall in GT4s, 3rd currently in the GT4 Pro category. Making his way out of the Coca-Cola curve, the final corner on this Grand Prix circuit at the Nurburgring. down the front straightaway. To complete another lap. Question is he going to improve on his time at all? And it looks like he did not, but he also might be starting another lap here to get going on the racetrack. We'll see if he can make any improvements as we hop over to Will Orton for NSR Esports. He has a good bit of improving to do. He is currently 12th in the GT3 Pro category, 13th overall. Andrew Broom, currently the only AM-class driver able to punch his way into that GT3 Pro field up at the top of the leaderboard currently. He's still 11th overall, but only AM-class driver to really be in the mix of the pro drivers. And we'll see if anybody else can make their way above Dominique's Josiah, because that is what it's going to take to punch their way into the pro category right now on the timing sheets. As more pro drivers start to make their way up into the top of the leaderboard, Andrew Broom falls to 12th overall, and he's going to stay there with a time not improving, a 157.236. He'll keep his 157.111 as Rickard Carlson is going to improve one spot with the 156.465. We're taking a look at Phil Reagan for XZ Racing making his way in the final corner.
You know, Josh, it seems to me that some of these cars are having a little bit of trouble with that final chicane, like just getting it nailed down. We've seen a couple of cars bouncing around over those last couple of curves there, turns 13 and 14. So could have some carnage there once the race gets going. We will have to see.
And that could also be because of those curves. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the pre-show, that these curves, they're not like the normal Formula One curves that we're used to seeing, where they're mainly flat, not really having that much of a hump to them. These curves are much like what you would see on just the street, like a sidewalk. I mean, they are curved and they are big bumps in the road, where if you get on them too hard, you're going to be damaging that suspension. As a great time goes up from Nicholas Helm, 156.134, over 3/10 ahead of Guyton Anger now in second. A great time from that BMW for Hellracers Tershine. Going back to what I was saying, these bumps are sharp and they will throw that car around. That could be what we're seeing as drivers try and cut that chicane as tight as possible. You need to be wary of those curves.
Wow, what a great result for Helm. Just to home run it in there at the last second.
And now taking a look at your starting grid for today's race, Nicholas Helm on the pole in a great lap time. Guy Nanger in second, Rickard Carlson third, Lewis Ward fourth, Nelson Costa de Sosa in fifth, Stellan Lineberg in sixth, Matthias Beer in seventh, Nick Madsen eighth, Neil Cooper ninth, with Ross Deal rounding out your top 10 in the GT3 Pro category. Moving on to GT3 AM, starting on the pole there, Andrew Broom for Devils Racing, the only AM-class driver able to punch his way into the pro category in terms of times on the leaderboard. Julian Martinson in second, Tom Bingham third, Dennis Lumpkin fourth, with Manuel Wacker rounding out your top 5 there. Oscar Glissert with Andy Thompson, Phil Reagan, Rick Van Ackeren, August Gramelli, and August Gramelli will round out your top 10 there of the GT3 AM category. Moving on to GT4 Pro, Mergim Alio with a great time for VLX Esports sits on the pole. Hristo Ublev in second, Piotr Matizak in third, Viktor Varbanov in fourth, with Iskren Pandev rounding out your top 5 of GT4 Pro. And the only 5 drivers of GT4 AM will line up as Daniel Markov, Mark Silcock, Boyko Shapov, Vasil Angelov, and Pontus Oferstrom. So that is all the top drivers in each of your divisions of each of your classes here today. Points starting to heat up, Jim. We have multiple ties for championship leads in our divisions. What are you expecting after all the racing we've got going here today? Are you expecting more points shakeups, or are you expecting them to be as close as they were when we're coming in?
I would love to see some shakeups, and I think, Josh, that we're already seeing it with that result for Helm at the very top of the field. For him to be able to hero himself into pole, that is just fantastic. And we're honestly seeing that all the way up and down the timing tower. You know, Aliyu and Ublev did manage to get themselves around Markov, even though they're in different classes. I'm sure they don't, necessarily want to be battling with cars in a lower class. They'll have a little bit more clear air for themselves. And as you said, Broom did very well for himself. And yeah, I think we're going to have shakeups all over the place.
And that shakeup for Helm is going to be incredibly important as he sits 14th currently in the GT3 Pro category in terms of points. 31 points on the board for him. He has to catch up to the lead, which is currently held by both Anger and Madsen, 86 and 85 points respectively, separating those two at the front of the GT3 Pro category. Your GT3 field ready to go racing. Pro and AM drivers ready to slam on that loud pedal and go racing from the Nurburgring. Let's go. The green flag in the air. Let's go racing. It's two Hell Racers. Kershine cars already taking the top two spots. Titan Anger gonna fall to third. Lewis Ward for Team 11 now trying to punch his way up into that top three, but right now it's all Hell Racers up in front as they try and go around the outside through turn number one. Quickly turns to the inside. Anger keeping third. Weinberg up to fourth, and here comes Nick Madsen from Mac Performance SRT trying to punch his way into the top five.
Wow, look at that result from the Hell Racers Kershine gang. There's three of those cars at the front.
GT4 field taking the green flag. Everybody getting through turn one clean. Still up in front, it's Mergem Elio. Presto Ublev still in second as two cars go battling as Markov and Matizek. Markov, the only AM class driver to punch his way into the pro class in that division. Sorry, in that class. Daniel Markov out in front, and you're taking a look right now, focused on Piotr Matuzak, trying to get by that AM class driver up ahead of him. Already some pro versus AM traffic going on in the GT4 Pro categories. The Outback, the GT3s making their way out of Dunlop curve into the Michael Schumacher S. Hell Racers Kershine having a stranglehold right now on this lead. Optimus Sim Racing's Guy Anger in third, and you can see Nick Madsen squaring off with Lewis Ward for Team 11. Both going side by side. Madsen almost running him out of room going through that corner there as they make their way back up through Advan, turn 12, into the final chicane of the course, and then down into Coca-Cola Curve to finish the first lap of the race. An hour on the clock, and we already have a minute 45 down. Madsen pulling away now for fifth as here comes Matthias Beer going side by side with Nelson Costa de Sosa.
What a first lap Madsen has had here. I believe he was down in 7th or 8th, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he has gained 3 places, so a great first lap for him.
Fastest lap, though, belongs to Helm. He's still at the front of the field. Still going side by side. Beer versus Costa de Sosa. Also going side by side. That looks to be Augusto Cassini and Dominicus Josaiva. Definitely feel like I'm saying that name wrong. I will get it down, I promise. But the XZ Racing driver, I can't say the team name right today. The XZ Racing driver trying to get around the Mac Performance SRT car in front of him, but he's going to stay in 12th currently overall in the GT3 Pro category. He's got a mirror full of Will Orton in the NSR Esports Lamborghini Huracan. And you can see right behind him, Andrew Bloom for Devils Racing. He's the leader of the GT3 AM category. And that Mercedes AMG machine of Julian Martinson sitting right behind him. So we already got battles brewing in the GT3 AM category for that lead. But they have GT3 Pro traffic up ahead of him. It's a bit weird to say AM class has traffic of the Pro class up ahead of him, but these AM class drivers are not giving the Pro drivers any slack today.
Yep, and that looks like a pass. That looks like Kondev and Shopov having a battle with Sherman behind, who was in the AM class, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, what a great battle. As you say, going on all over the track. I just want to talk about the start really fast. It looked to me like, Josh, that Anger swerved over the track out of P2 to try to get the inside at turn 1, and it just didn't play out for him because Carlson managed to get around, and that's the way they still are. Even though we're looking here, of course, at the GT4s. There's the number 325 machine.
Coming back to GT3 Pro, Lewis Ward. Neil Cooper battling now with him for Ronin Simsport Academy. Cooper went around the outside of Lewis Ward though. Lewis Ward down 6 spots from the start of this race as they make their way into lap 3. Jim's alarm bell starting to ring for the 197 as he dives up the inside, makes contact with Cooper, and around goes Cooper in turn 1. The Ron and Simsport Academy driver around in the grass, multiple more involved. I'm not sure who else involved in this one. More GT3 AM cars slowing down as they make their way into one. More contact for Cougar. He's around to get in two. And more contact as well, flipping up and down.
Just broadsided. He can't get the car going again before he just gets hammered by somebody else. He's going to have another wreck trying to rejoin here. Oh, terrible.
And Neil Cooper's day went from fairly good to bad right there immediately. But what I was saying before that was Lewis Ward down 5 spots now. He was down 6 until that contact with Neil Cooper, but now down 5. His alarm bell is going to start to ring for the 197 here. He's losing spots like a rock. Taking a look at the replay of that incident there real quick, but Ward continues to still drop down the field as we take a look at the battle up front between Carlson and Anger for P2. You can see those 3 blue and orange cars of Hellracers. Hellracers Tershine and Hellracers Gluttony. Tershine currently leads the field with Hellman Carlson up front, with Lineberg sitting in 4th for Gluttony. And here's Lewis Ward, and down 4 spots now. He's able to get back by Ross Deal for NSR Esports, so that gets him a little bit more towards the positive, and it looks like he's starting to claw his way back up over those first couple of laps, dropping positions almost every single lap.
Yeah, Helm already down into the 157s now, setting the fastest lap of the race, still ahead of Carlson and Anger. In fact, he's got himself a 1-second gap past Helm. Really nice to see him having that sort of success. He's kind of been a little bit close to the success, but hasn't quite had it for himself in the races so far. So great to see as we're looking here at Veer, who has got a storm of angry cars behind him, ready to get around and go chasing after Madsen, who, like we said a minute ago, just absolutely gained a ton of places on the first lap of the race.
And Madsen continues to work his way through the field as he sits in 5th. With Stellan Lineberg up ahead. This is the top 5 currently of your GT3 class and your GT3 Pro Division. Up at the front, all separated by about 2.5 seconds. So the race just starting to heat up as we go 7 minutes down, 1 hour total here in this race. That seems like a lot of time, but those minutes can etch away themselves quickly, especially with these lap times here at the Nurburgring being up around 2 minutes.
Well, looks like we're looking forward at Kachiyami's car from Joe Visa's driver's seat. And he is ready to make something happen there, I have no doubt. Just listening to those rocks bouncing off the underside of the car. You always know you're using up all of the track when you hear landscape underside on the underside of your race car.
You can see him using up those curves as well. Both sides of the car getting lifted up there by the curves. Trying to just maximize all the track limits that he possibly can without exactly running too far off. As there's one of the dramas of the curves, Manuel Wacker, 4th now in the GT3 AM category. That was Will Orton for NSR Esports, 13th currently in GT3 Pro, going around him, but he almost hit that guardrail, or sorry, that curve, like a grind rail that you'd see a skateboarder ride. I mean, it just caught the bottom of the car. He couldn't get it turned off. That's one of the main things about these curves. When they're up that high, there's so much of a bump. You can get the car lifted up and physically lift all the tires off the ground. You're just a sitting duck.
Well, here is Ublev chasing after Aliyu. They've got a group of cars here. Keep in mind that one of those cars, the 3rd in the row right there, Markov, he is in a different class, sets the fastest lap of his class at 2:05.3. So Markov kind of running with the class ahead, but they have a tight little group here. This track is so dangerous, Josh, because you want to be on the end of that front straight. You want to have the inside, but it loses so much elevation there on the inside. It's very hard to make any kind of action happen safely there.
Markov for Vertical Grip Racing Racing through the middle sectors here at the Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit. Here's the battle for second, checking back in on it between Carlson and Anger, and you can throw Lineberg into this as well, as he currently sits a little bit further back behind the wheel of his Ferrari GT3, but here for second, it's a battle between the Hellracers Tershine BMW and the Lamborghini Huracan Optimal Sim Racing car of Guyton Anger, and Will Orton is in the pit lane.
Oh, no.
So the NSR Esports 170 in the pit lane. Looks like Manuel Wacker also coming in. Not sure if we had some contact between those two or if it might have been just some damage maybe from that car. Taking a look at Will Orton, and he is going to go around. Too much curb on the inside.
He just got beamed.
So he makes his way into pit road. Manuel Wacker also in. These are not the scheduled pit stops. They will need to at least pit once during this race, and we saw in the last couple of rounds splitting that race in half at about 30 minutes seems to be the best strategy. So expect some green flag stops when we make our way towards the middle portion of this race, but only 10 minutes down currently. Still about 40 minutes to go. As Anger now all over the back bumper of Rickard Carlson. Is he gonna be able to make the pass happen? Jim, we haven't even began to talk about passing zones yet, but the Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit, not a lot of them, as it is fairly narrow in terms of the other racetracks we're used to seeing. I can think back to round one at Spa, the middle sectors of Spa. We talked about how narrow it was there, difficult to pass. This is the same thing, pretty much all the way around the racetrack here.
Yeah, well, of course, there is room physically to get two cars side by side, but you compromise your speed so much, and you put yourself in danger of, just dipping a wheel off the track or going around. So even though the track has got to be 20, 30, 40 meters wide, you still can't get the car past just because of the way that the circuit keeps you so busy. But then again, that's what we love about it. Keeps you busy.
And it does make it fairly unique as well. And when you go through the entire Nordschleife of the Nürburgring that they use for the 24 hours, and they open up as public roadways in Germany, it is very unique there as well. Almost like a paved rally course, I'd like to call it, because it seems like every corner is almost blind. And it takes a lot to learn that course. As we take a look at Fabio Sherman battling in the GT4 class. That's Boyko Shapov up ahead of him for JRS. And this is a pro versus AM battle going on. Second in the pro class for GT4 currently is Shapov. Sherman, sorry, second in the AM class is Shapov. Sixth in the pro category is Sherman, trying to catch up to him for Schubert Motorsport, in the 319. Here's some GT4 versus GT3 traffic. Who's that cutting up through the GT3 cars? That is Neil Cooper, who got involved in the incidents earlier, trying to rebound his way up. A little headlight flash there from Piotr Matzizak. Cooper now up 19th overall, trying to fight his way back up through the field after those early incidents. Carlson still with a mirror full of Anger, but Anger not able to get by him yet. Still about 3/10 separate these two.
Anger, it seems to me, does like to kind of play the long game, though. Doesn't appear to be taking too many chances here, so I don't think he's trying too hard to get around Carlson at this moment. We do have quite a bit of racing left to go, so maybe he's just hanging out and biding his time.
He still knows that he has pit stops coming up. He has a lot of time on the clock left as well. Might not be wanting to make a move he's going to regret later on in the race right now. Running right behind Carlson. You're on board with Carlson, looking back at Anger. Top 5 currently in the GT3 Pro category. Nicholas Helm has led since the outset. 1.4 seconds separate them up at the top. Then Anger, Lineberg, Carlson, Anger, Lineberg, and Madsen, the top 5 of GT3 Pro. Taking a look at Steven Sander. Gonna dive up the inside of, looks to be Andrew Brahma now on the outside. Oh, my, and a lock up from Brahma as well. Sorry, that is Sander. He was going up the inside of Stuart Taylor, I believe. Locks it up, going over the curb on the inside. More battles further up here in the GT3 AM category. August Gramelli in the 289. Phil Reagan, Oscar Gleisart behind them.
Nice smattering of different cars here as we're seeing Gramelli. Looks like he's pulling away a little bit from Reagan and Gleisart. Gleisart will no doubt want. He has a little look at the inside of the Ferrari of Reagan, but he's not quite able to get by. Oh, there's Gleisart. He's lagging a bit behind this group of Lemke, Gramelli, and Reagan.
It looks like that car back there is actually the 14th Pro category driver of Neil Cooper. Sorry, not Neil Cooper. That would be Jonathan Pollet for Optimal Sim Racing. Sometimes with these big grids, the timing screen that we're looking at gets a little bit mixed up. Sometimes we got to go by the overlays, so apologize for a little bit of misinformation there from what we're looking at on our timing screen versus what all of you can see. As Pollet and Reagan going battling. Reagan keeping that overall position, though, from Pollet. As you can see, Pollet getting so close right now on the bumper. Is he going to be able to get by? He is right there, almost pushing the 260 up the straightaway into the chicane. He's going to dive it up the inside, and he's going to give him the spot. Jonathan Pollet makes his way up further in the field. He is
nice
still
move.
One lap down, I believe, after a pit stop or maybe an incident earlier on, so he's fighting to try and get his lap back currently.
Kachiami shows us how it's done. I did say it was a little bit hard to make a pass at the end of the front straight there because of the way it falls away in turn one, but Kachiami didn't seem to mind. Got the pass done just fine.
And just confirming, Pollet did come into pit road a little bit earlier on. So he started way back in the field and currently over one lap down, trying to get that back. Up to the battle for fourth currently in the GT3 Pro category. Here comes Nick Madsen on Stellan Lineberg. Hell Racers Gluttony versus Mac Performance SRT. Throw Matthias Beer in there as well. He's going to try and make a move down to the inside in his BMW. A little bit of front end damage for Beer. That could be affecting the aerodynamics of that car. Doesn't look like it though, as he is still running very close behind Nick Madsen. You can see Lewis Ward for Team 11 peeking that nose at the top of your screen, trying to join this battle for fourth. Lineberg pulling away a little bit, now on board with Madsen. Matthias Beer putting all the pressure he possibly can on Madsen. Passing opportunity coming up in the final chicane. Will he be able to take it? He's going to go to the inside. Madsen throws a quick block. No pass is going to be made going through the chicane this time.
Ooh, Beer losing the rear of the car just a little bit there. I think he had to, maybe there was a panic brake involved, but we're looking here at Madsen, who is close behind Lindeberg. Madsen's still in fifth. He's just kind of hanging out with Beer catching up very close. So if Madsen's plan has been to save some fuel, he has a look at the inside of Lindeberg, but decides not to try it this time by. So if Madsen's plan has been to save a little bit of fuel, well, he's got himself caught up by the likes of Beer and Ward very close behind as well.
Helm still leads the way up at the front, and then Carlson, Anger, Lineberg, Madsen, your top five overall and of GT3 Pro. Back down to the GT4 battle between Sherman and Chapo, as Sherman gets off the track, clips the grass, and now he's going to have the BMW and Georgi Raychev behind him for vertical grip sim racing.
Yeah, interesting to me, Josh, to see Raychev sort of down in the timings, down in the standings. Raychev is certainly going to make a move on Sherman here. He will try the outside. Ooh, bouncing the car all over the place. I don't think he's going to be able to be too much faster, but he's going to maybe have another little look. Now, as we recall, Raychev has had some pretty great results in this series so far, so it's a surprise to me to see him down running in seventh right now in GT4 Pro.
Currently the GT4 Pro standings, Raychev is third in the standings, a good bit behind the leaders currently, 26 points back. He's looking for a good finish here to put himself further into that championship hunt. As when we leave round 3 here at the Nurburgring, we're going to have 4 rounds remaining. Sebring, Road America, Barcelona, Watkins Glen to finish out the season. And make sure you're tuning in. All the action you can catch right here on Apex Racing TV. On board with Rickard Carlson. He has caught up to Nicholas Helm. I'm not sure if Helm maybe made a mistake or what, but we have a battle for the lead now. As here comes Carlson in the draft. Helm gonna go down to the inside to try and protect that line. And it's going to work. No change of position going through turn 1 this time. 2 Hell Racers, Turshine drivers fight for the lead, but look who's joining. That's Guy Nager in the 123 for Optimal Sim Racing. 3-way battle for the lead as they make their way through the Mercedes Arena.
Now, obviously, Josh, my crystal ball is not functioning, but I do think, I get the feeling that Anger is just biding his time here. And if he can wait and let these 2 guys battle for the lead, maybe he can pounce if there's any kind of mistake between them.
That is possible as they make their way through the forward curve down into Dunlop. Hard braking zone here as well, but the track narrows up. Huge curve on the inside as well. No passes being made here. Watch the exit. This is where a lot of mistakes are made. Going a little bit too wide. Nobody does. Top 3 in the GT3 Pro and overall stays the same, but they are reaching some lap traffic up ahead. This could influence the battle for the lead. A huge stack of a GT4 cars up in front. They're going to go almost 3 wide. They are going to go 3 wide. Contact between your leaders. Carlson is around.
I think that was Raychev. Got into it there. Raychev going again. Carlson's so mad he can't get the car back on the track. Oh no, is he going to tow?
I believe he is going to tow that Hell Racers Turshine car back into pit lane. Take a look. Just so desperate to try and get around that lap traffic. Not enough room. The contact is made. And around go 2 cars in that corner as some cars making their way now into pit lane. That's Matthias Beer coming in for his pit stop. Is this a scheduled stop? Can he make it to the end here? Or is this going to be a damage repair?
Yeah, hard to say. Does have damage on the front end, as you mentioned before. I feel like it could be a tad early to make it to the end, but you know, Beer could maybe be able to make it happen. I feel bad for Carlson that he had that issue just before he tapped Raychev's car and sent them both around, but I gotta feel like it was ill-advised of him to try the pass in that particular spot.
But we'll know if that is the scheduled green flag pit stop window if we see more cars coming into pit lane in the next coming laps. But right now, no other takers down pit lane that time by. So we'll see if anybody is going to follow Matthias Beer in from the GT3 class. So Helm and Anger now your top 2 as they're going to go battling into Dunlop. GT4 traffic going to go right out of the way. The 2 leaders going to race their way by. But now no Rickard Carlson as he tows his way back into the pit lane. And he's currently in the pit lane, grabbing some repairs and grabbing that tow back. So now just a 2-car battle for the lead between Helm and Anger. Hell Racers Turshine versus Optimal Sim Racing up in front. Some great teams up at the front of this GT3 class and even more down in the AM category as well when you look further back. And it's a who's who of sim racing names: XZ, NSR, Mag Performance, 99 Racing, Devils Racing. A lot of great teams competing here in the Apex Racing League GT Trophy. And August Gramelli gonna go battling with Andy Thompson.
Yeah, it looks like we have a number of great battles going on over the track. I was just having a look at the intervals, but a lot of them are between cars who are in 2 different classes. This is one of the few very close battles we have on track other than the lead, which is between 2 cars who are very much in the same class. As you say, Gramelli is chasing Thompson there.
And right now, as we reach this middle portion of the race, a little bit of a move may be trying to be made by Gramelli. He's going to be on the outside of... Oh, look at this, up the inside. That's Phil Reagan for XZ Racing. Down the inside of Gramelli. He's going to take advantage of that slight mistake. Slot his way up into 7th, currently in the GT3 AM category. Now going to try and chase down Andy Thompson for Performance Link Esports up in front. But he's not done, though. He tried to make a look to the inside, did not like what he saw. No move's going to be made from Gramelli, but here he comes. He's going to try and go around the outside. No, he won't. Phil Reagan going to keep that spot in 6th, but everybody's starting to get stuck into their stint. Everybody's starting to spread out a little bit. We're going to see some small 3 football car battles going on the racetrack, but no huge battles like we saw earlier on. As Rick Van Ackeren for Blackbird goes to the inside a little bit deep in the braking. Here comes, looks like Steven Sander for 99 Racing Black, battling for 9th in class.
Yeah, what a battle that was. It just, it's awful when you're doing everything you can to pass a guy, and then you have a little mistake, and the guy behind you passes you. Hey, what are you doing, buddy? That was my pass. There's Beer back out on track with a very much more repaired-looking car. Oh, no, he still got damage. So he must not have taken his optional repairs, Josh.
Definitely wondering what exactly that pit stop from Matthias Beer was. It looks like the time was only about less than a second. The pit lane time and the pit time are the exact same.
Huh. Drive-through?
It could very well be possible. Could have been a penalty, maybe for too many off-tracks. I don't know exactly how the Apex Racing League stewards have the session made up, but too many incident points could have led to a drive-through penalty. We'll see maybe if we can get a word in our Discord chat from one of our admins watching the race currently and watching the broadcast, so we can see exactly what went on there with Madsen, if it was a penalty or not, because that is very weird and very unscheduled for Matthias Beer. Sorry, not Madsen, Matthias Beer coming into pit lane. He currently sits 23rd overall, 12th in his division, GT3 Pro. Here's Madsen up ahead of Lewis Ward. Ward's done a great job. We talked about it a little bit earlier on, about 20 minutes ago in the race. After about 3 laps were done, that Ward was falling back down the order, down 7 spots at one point almost. Now gained his way back down 1 spot only from where he started. If he gets past Madsen, he's going to be exactly where he started this race. He's trying to get by Madsen, but you can see just how difficult it is to pass here. Just no opportunities for him.
If I'm not mistaken, Josh, I believe that Ward had a little bit of a moment and might have seen a little bit of a grass early in the race. Of course, he's running in 5th, so nothing wrong with that. Plenty of racing left to go. But I think that might be why he was falling down, but certainly seems to be getting along fine now.
Nicholas Helm still leads. Geidenanger in 2nd. Got a little bit too far in the dirt there. Kicked a bit of it up. Keeps the car under him, though. No incident for Helm as he for Anger, as he will stay in 2nd. Right behind your leader, Nicholas Helm. Lineberg, Madsen, Ward round out your top 5 currently of GT3 Pro. And Helm leading the way here in GT3 Pro is going to be great for him in the points. 31 points behind. Sorry, 31 points on the point standings currently. 56 behind your current leader up ahead of Geidenanger. So we'll be getting at least a little bit back on Anger from where he's finishing there. Not that great of a day at Interlagos. He lost 7 positions after Interlagos in the standings, went from 7th down to 14th. Current points leader, Geidenanger, running in 2nd currently. Nick Madsen has 85 points. He's 1 point behind Geidenanger, but as you can see on the timing tower, Madsen currently running in 4th. He's going to need to gain a little bit more positions and get by Geidenanger if he wants to have any chance at grabbing that points lead away. We'll see if he'll be able to do that. Rickard Carlson sits 3rd in the points for GT3 Pro. Obviously, we know exactly what happened, so Rickard Carlson, he's still in the pit lane, getting towed and getting repaired. So Carlson gonna fall way down the order in terms of the point standings. Will Orton sat in 4th. Another not great day for him. Don't know exactly where he's running currently on the leaderboard, but he is running fairly far down. 43rd overall, 15th in the GT3 Pro Division. So a bad day for him. And 5th place in the points, Matthias Beer, who currently sits 11th in the division of GT3 Pro, 15th overall. So it seems like for everybody except your top 2 in the point standings, those bottom 3 in the top 5, Carlson, Orton, Beer, not having great days on the racetrack.
No, but at least a lot of them aren't having great days. I mean, you know, it's kind of like that moment when you know you've done poorly on the test and then you find out the rest of the class did poorly as well. maybe it was me.
That is one of the great things about, you know, seeing the drivers around you just kind of not doing great, as it kind of lifts a bit of pressure off. More incidents going on. Glissered around. And I think that was Gramelli as well in the 289. 2 GT3 AM cars around in the final chicane.
Love that color of Ferrari, but Glissered is easy to spot because he doesn't have much going on his livery.
Taking a look at the replay here.
Oh, he got a little tap, I think. I think it was that Rachel that maybe gave him a little taparoo. Hard to say. Well, you know, Josh, as we say, since we don't have any, we don't have a live steward, that means that any incidents are racing incidents, regardless of what happens. Anger and Helm here still battling it out for the lead of the race. I feel like Anger is kind of toying with Helm a little bit. He seems to just poke his car out whenever they're on any kind of a straight. That could be a move to, you know, try to, maybe he's keeping his eye on the water temp of the car. Certainly also an issue, but just staying in somebody's mirrors, you know, can kind of force a mistake. Helm, of course, hanging on to it, but we'll see who begins to blink first. We should have people coming down for pit stops here. I'm looking at the timing tower, and I don't think anybody in the top 13 has yet pitted. Top 13 overall, that is.
Over halfway done with this race now by about 90 seconds, so expecting pit stop soon. As we say that, Lewis Ward enters the pit lane. That might be one of the first scheduled pit stops of the day.
Yeah, that might have been a smart move by Ward. I don't know if he was still battling with Madsen or not. He might have gotten shaken up by some on-track incidents that we were just seeing. This is Shopov and Sherman. These guys have been battling for most of the race. Of course, they are in different classes, but they're still having a lot of fun out there. And that will be Wacker is into the pits. As is Sherman.
So more cars making their way in. Gleisert into pit lane as well. Helm and Anger still running 1 and 2 on the racetrack. Not letting either of them go very far. They've been about 2/10 separated between these two for the last, I want to say 20 minutes on the racetrack. Ooh, he went a little bit deep in there though. Look at Anger right on the back bumper of Helm. I think that might have been just a little warning. It's contact! Helm contact with the 99 Racing black car up ahead. I'm not sure exactly who that was. Madsen's involved as well.
Look at
multiple leaders involved in an incident coming out of the Warsteiner curve, turn 11.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
What on earth happened here? I don't know who he made contact with. We're taking a look now. Here's Nicholas Helm. One car up ahead.
That's Taylor right there, I think, in the number 20, or running 22nd, maybe.
Oh, and I think Nicholas Helm might have thought that he was gonna be a little bit further back and he would have been cleared coming out of the corner. Just was not close enough.
Just pit maneuvered himself.
And the worst end of that deal, obviously, other than Taylor, was Madsen, who had a head-on collision. I think he might have only hit that right side of the car, but still a head-on collision with the side of Taylor's car. Luckily, I believe only just some side damage and maybe a run through the grass for Nicholas Helm. So he will at least have that going for him, but he is going to be down the order in terms of position and have to claw his way back as Anger stays on the racetrack, not making his green flag stop just yet. Oh, and Gramelli with a huge amount of damage to that rear wing.
Yeah, definitely going to need that rear wing on this track. Unfortunate. Big gaps now between your top three, Anger, Lindeberg, and Costa del Sol. Excuse me, Costa de Souza. I apologize. But 4 seconds and 7 back to your top three. So, boy, Josh, we still got lots of racing left to go. But I feel like the pit stop, at least at the sharp end of the field overall, isn't going to be quite as much of an issue. Still not a lot of cars have come in for their stops all the way down to 10th place.
So a handful of cars. Yeah, the GT4, what I was going to mention is GT4 cars have made their way slowly down into pit road. So just waiting on more drivers from the GT3 field, but just taking a look down on my timing screen, Anger, Lineberg, Bingham, Martinson, Ward made his pit stop. De Souza has not. Ross Deal, Lemke, Thompson, Madsen has not come in yet. Sorry, yes he has. He pitted on lap 18 just a few laps ago. Kasiyami, Grauer, Cooper, all not coming in just yet. Andy Brahma's not come in. Dominikas Josaiva making his way in.
Here's Madsen pitting in. So Joveza, Broom, Bingham all pitted together.
Green flag pit stops continue.
I think Joveza might have gained himself a position while he was in that pit exchange there.
Could be possible, especially as we have cars staying out on the racetrack. Some cars may be opting into those optional repairs they might have gotten earlier on. Usually you're used to losing pit stops during a pit cycle, but you can gain spots, especially on pit road, if you play your cards exactly right. And guy in Anger last time by sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:56.56. So Anger not slowing down at all. Best sector 1, 2, and 4 times for his personal best, and he sets a race best sector 1 time last time by.
You know, I'm sure that if the race finishes this way and we do get to speak to Anger, he does stop in for an interview after the race, which I hope he does. I'm sure that he'll say that this is not the way he wanted it to go. I mean, what a battle we had going on track as somebody else goes around. Was that Costa? It is. No.
Not sure exactly who went around. They just got spun right into the grass.
Costa de Souza, Lindeberg, and Grauer all into the pits.
That was the 223 machine of Andy Thompson for Performance League Esports. No damage, it looks like. Just a quick turnaround of that Lamborghini Huracan GT3. And back going on the racetrack.
Slamming it over the curves just like regular.
Now Lemke comes into pit lane, so 99 Racing white machine is in. And a reminder for all the drivers, if you are tuning into the broadcast and you're competing here in this race, especially if you finish in the top 5 of your class or division, we would like to speak to you after the race in our post-race coverage. So make sure that you head into our Discord. All the information will be in the description of the live stream and in the chat room as well. You can join in, and after the race, we'll give you a quick interview, talk about your race, and you can thank any sponsors or team that you might be running for. So make sure you join our Apex Racing TV Discord. Join after the race, and we will discuss for you. Make sure when you join that Discord, you switch your Discord name to your name as it appears in iRacing, so we can very quickly recognize you, pull you in, and get you for an interview. Once again, all that information will be in the description of the live stream and the chat room of the live stream over on YouTube. Lewis Wardall over the back bumper. Stellan Lineberg, he wants by that Hellraiser's Gluttony car. Not able to get around him just yet. He's going to make a move going into the RTL curve, turn 10. It looks like he's going to go for it. Round the outside. Not going to make any contact, but still very close together. The BMW fighting the Ferraris that make their way through turn 11. Not giving each other any slack, but it's still going to be Lewis Ward running in 5th in the GT3 Pro Division.
I bet Ward is going to need a long line out after this nap is over. He was battling with Madsen for so long, and now he's all over the rear of Lindeberg's car, and it's so exhausting to be so close to somebody and be dying to get by. You've got to be really on your toes.
You can see Lewis Ward still running right behind the 4th place car of Weinberg. Deal, Kassiami making their way into pit lane. So that pretty much leaves the drivers up front. That doesn't leave anybody. That is everybody into pit lane. We're only missing, I believe, Pontus Overstrom and Julian Ganowski. That is everybody down and into pit road. They're one pit stop done and out. 20 minutes to go in this race, and everybody is leaving it up to the on track. As here comes Neil Cooper down to the inside of Gleisert, trying to gain more spots in the GT3 class and overall. As Neil Cooper sits 12th in the GT3 Pro Division, he's going to have to catch up to Nicholas Helm. Sorry, he's going to have to catch up to Madsen if he's going to want to have any passing going on within his own division.
Anger's got his gap now up to 5.5 seconds, going on for 6 seconds. So quite a gap on Lindeberg. We'll see when he decides to blink. Surely he's got to come in soon, Josh, at 41 minutes.
They're going to need to make a pit stop soon, because we know a pit stop is required by the way the Apex Racing League admins set up the max amount of fuel for each of these cars. So everybody needs to come in at least once per race. Looks like some drivers in the GT4 class might just be trying to stretch it as much as they can. As Ganowski still on the racetrack, 37th overall, 8th in the GT4 Pro Division. And Alverstrom sitting in 44th overall, last place, 5th in the GT4 AM category, as Lewis Ward made a look to the outside, and he might have gotten blocked by that GT4 traffic up ahead. He's going to have to go to the inside now of the Hell Racers gluttony car of Steven Leinberg to try and make that pass happen. Is he going to go for it? Yes, he does. Diving to the inside. Not going to get there under braking, though. Leinberg keeps second.
I think Lindeberg kind of shut the door on him there, and I think Ward saw that it was going to happen and let it breathe a little bit. That wasn't a full-on lick the stamp and send it on Ward's part, which is smart, although he's definitely trying to stick that nose under Lindeberg's car.
On board with Lewis Ward for Team 11. You can see Lindeberg up ahead. Hard braking zones through turns 5 and 6. GT4 traffic on the right side. That's Silcock. They're going to go right on by. Ward with a peek to the outside. Going to cut down to the inside. Late apex for him. Try to get a good run out the corner, and he did. Just nowhere to go as the Ferrari of Lindeberg up ahead completely blocks his run. Now he's going to have to try and make another run for it, coming out of turn 12 and into the final chicane.
Yeah, I think Ward is suffering exactly what you were talking about when we were just getting started in this race, which is not a lot of great spots to pass. He's been all over the rear of Lindeberg's car and was all over the rear of Madsen's car before. Here he will have a look. He gets the car halfway alongside, trying to go around the outside in the chicane, and I don't think that was ever going to happen. Beer just behind is closing up the gap now. So this might very soon become a 3-car party.
Some intense racing as the clock continues to wind down, nearing 16 minutes to go here in the Apex Racing League GT Trophy. Round number 3 from the Nurburgring. On board with the GT4 Pro Division second place driver, Christo Ublev for Green Fox Motorsport.
Yeah, what a finish we had in the last race between Ublev and I think it was Markov, unless I'm mistaken. But today, it could have been Aliu as well, but Aliu certainly doing a little bit better. His race, he is way out in front. Or out in front, anyway, if not way out.
And we talk about the GT3 so much because obviously there's a striking more amount of GT3 cars versus GT4. I mean, we have 14 GT4 cars running on the track compared to 30 GT3s as one GT4 car goes around into the grass. And as I was saying, we have so much more GT3 cars on the tracks. We have so much more GT3 action that sometimes it overshadows a little bit the GT4 action. There's still a lot of great battles in GT4. The points are just as close in the GT4 divisions as well. 3 points separate the top two, Ublev and Aliu, in the GT4 Pro Division. And we have a three-way tie for the GT4 AM category championship between Velikov, Markov, and Pollard. So the GT4 class is having great battles in both of their divisions, both on the track and in the point standings. And the same thing going on with the GT3 divisions as we take a look at a replay down the front straightaway.
That is Lindbergh. Must have gotten a slowdown or something because Ward and Beer both got by Lindbergh. I was thinking he was going to have a little incident there in turn one, but not the case. Lindbergh now all the way down to fourth. Ward, Beer, and Lindbergh all together slicing through traffic.
Yeah, they're getting by that GT4 car up on the outside of looks to be Sherman, and they all do get by him. I wanted to bring up something that we talked about earlier because I said when Lewis Ward was starting to fall down the order around lap 3, his alarm bells ringing because he started in 4th, and that is a great qualifying effort from Ward and Team 11. And then he was falling all the way back to 11th. I was wondering if he was going to be having a terrible race day, but he drove his way back up through the field, and it's not an easy thing to do with all the lap traffic, with all the incidents that we saw up in front to try and stay up front. And he now is running in second, positive 2 points from where he started. Lewis Ward with a great drive back. The alarm bells turning into celebration bells if he can finish the race exactly where he is. 13 minutes left.
Oh no, Gleaser around at the chicane. I think he got a little tap from Ublev there. Or maybe just lost the rear of the car. No, it wasn't Ublev. Might have been Aliu. Just that Porsche just ahead there. That had to be Aliu. I'm not sure if he touched the rear of Gleaser's car or not, but Gleaser certainly went around. Gleaser having trouble maintaining a continuum of existence. Yeah, Gleaser just tried. I don't know why he would do that, but he did. He tried to send it on a car that's not in the same class, and that car is leading their class. So maybe you'll advise.
Matthias Beer with a mirror full of Stellan Lindbergh. Ward cutting his way back through GT4 traffic up in front. They're starting to reach a good amount of those GT4 cars, and the speed difference is a little bit extreme. Fast times of GT3s is around 156.56. That's the best lap of the race from Gaiden Anger. Best lap in the GT4s looks to be around 2:05. So solid 10 seconds to 9 seconds slower per lap from GT3 to GT4. So especially on those straightaways, that speed difference is very apparent, and the GT4 cars become a bit of a nuisance for the GT3 field, but it does make these battles interesting as they got to race around them.
Yeah, well, we don't know what happened to Lindbergh here, but we are looking forward at Beer's car on board with Lindbergh. He slowed down on the straight. I'm not sure if he felt like he had to give that place up for sort of gentlemanly reasons, or he got to slow down or something, but and you can just see Ward in the distance there through Beer's car. Josh, I feel like this would be a pretty decent result for Beer. He's kind of been, I don't know, it seems like he hasn't had the best of luck necessarily in the series so far. So if he can hang on to this podium, which is by no means a foregone conclusion because Lindbergh will happily get around him at any minute now if he can. But I think it would be a great result.
And he had that unscheduled pit stop earlier as well that we still don't know exactly what it was for. It could have been a drive-through. It seemed like a very just quick pop into pit lane and right on out. It was very strange, to say the least. But he's fought his way back up to third, and you can see him still, even with that little bit of right front damage that we've been talking about all day, he's still keeping up in that BMW, not losing any positions, as you can see Lindeberg getting way up on the curb, trying to get as much track limits as he possibly can.
Yeah, they really throw these cars across those curves. I don't think I would do that. I'd be afraid of losing the car, and we have seen a couple of people do that, but you know, for the most part, these guys are just chucking this. I mean, you at the very top of the broadcast were warning everybody about how dangerous those curves are. These cars are driving over them like they're nothing more than paint.
Those might be a little bit better for Pro 4 or Pro 2 trucks with those suspensions. Not really these GT3s. They don't have the best suspension on them, especially for, you know, going in the air. For turning, yes, not exactly for height or distance in the air. So they need to watch out for that. Hopefully not getting damage on the bottom half of those cars. But taking a look now back at the GT4s, Iskram Pondev trying to catch up to Victor Varbino, battling for fourth in the GT4 Pro division.
Yeah, some really great battles going on here. There's Pondev. He's got his name across the top of his windshield. What undone? Good looking livery there, Pondev.
Varbino actually has his on there as well, just a little bit above where Pondev's was. Oh, and it's on the back too.
Nice. Now we're talking.
And big numbers as well in the GT4s. That is how you can tell exactly who it is. They're making their way through the Michael Schumacher S now. Great battle going on in the GT4 Pro Division, running extremely close together. About 3/10 separating these two at the moment. You've seen where the passing zones are in the GT3s, Jim. Do you think the passing zones kind of transition over to GT4s, or with the little bit of slower top speed in these GT4s, could it be a little bit different? Can they make passes in different spots?
Yeah, you know, it's been the story of the day, isn't it? Maybe not a lot of great places to pass, but we do see people, you know, trying to pass anyway at this spot right here, final chicane. Pondev decides not to do it, and I think wisely so. Plenty of, well, not plenty, but certainly some racing left to go. You wonder if Pondev will try some kind of a big move. Here is Beer looking forward at Ward's car. Ward now no longer all over the rear of someone else's car, but he does have Beer all over the rear of his.
Ward's still running in second. Matthias Beer behind. The next car up the road for him is actually going to be the GT4 AM division leader, Daniel Markov. 2 laps down from the GT3 field. And they are etching away at that lead from Gaiden Anger. It was around 11 seconds, down to about 10 and a half now, but Jim, we're nearing in 7 minutes left in this race. That's only going to be about 3 laps before we reach that white flag, maybe even 2 laps before we reach that white flag. They're running out of time to really catch up to get Gaiden Anger up ahead. They're going to need a huge mistake from Anger if they're going to want to catch up to him.
Yeah, they really do, and I honestly do not see it happening. I mean, we had a similar position when we started this series at Spa. Gaiden was way ahead. I mean, he was in a different... He had left Belgium and I think was driving his car somewhere around northern France. He was so far ahead. But, you know, so I think we're in a similar position here. I think it's just a matter of whether Beer or Lindeberg will be able to better themselves, or maybe whether Ward will have an incident. But I think as long as everybody stays respectful, we should be fine. Lindeberg, of course, back there caught behind a slower car. We'll deal with it shortly. There we go.
Costa de Sosa, he was another driver we saw going around earlier on, we believe, and that optimal sim racing car popped up into 5th. Stellan Lindeberg continuing to lose spots though. He lost a bit of positions to Ward and Beer, sat in 4th. Now he might be going down into 5th of the GT3 Pro Division. Oh, look at his battle back in the GT4 as this is Wacker up ahead of these drivers. Raichev, Silcock, and it looks like Angelov a little bit further on back. But these two GT4 cars, it's the Raichev and Silcock going battling.
Yeah, Raichev probably would have preferred a somewhat less interesting race. I think he did have a couple of incidents as we see him have a little bit of a wiggle. And who is that in the rear with the Audi off? We have seen that car before tonight, but I'm not sure who that was. Just lost the car on the final chicane before. This is smart. Well, these things do happen, certainly when I'm driving. There's Ublev looking at Aliu's car. As you were saying, Josh, just ticking over 5 minutes to go, so not a whole lot of time for Ublev and Aliu to battle this out. These guys do very often end up very close to one another at the end of the race, as I see. I think that's Ward's car coming blazing through.
And you're about to hear Matthias Beer go by as well. Lindenberg behind these two, and the GT4 cars getting very close. Aliu and Ublev battling for the lead in the GT4 Pro Division with just about 4.5 minutes to go. VLX Esports versus Green Fox Motorsport making their way back onto the front straightaway, making their way out of the way for GT3 traffic. And man, second, third, fourth, and fifth, the GT3 Pro and GT3 overall are close together now. Battle starting to heat up as we make our way into the final minutes of this race.
This is exactly what there is to love about a series like this with so much racing all over the track, is you're watching a battle take place and another battle comes blazing through the battle you were just watching. Oh no, there's a car off track over there. Spun around a little bit. Here is Lindeberg, very much in danger of losing his P4 finish. Oh no! Oh, that looked very dangerous to me. Lindeberg off track, and there's contact between Linda and Costa de Souza. De Souza off track. Lindeberg manages to keep it on track.
Oh my, and that just was a product of Lindeberg getting up on the curb, gets loose, hits Costa de Souza, and around goes Costa. He now sits 7th in the GT3 Pro Division. He didn't lose too much time on the racetrack, but still lost positions to Deal and Helm.
Battle goes on with Beer and Ward here. Ward now in defensive position. Again, he was all over the rear of a couple of cars for most of the race, and Beer is now in that position. This is going to be quite a battle. Very similarly matched cars, of course, same car. Just down to the driver. I wonder if we'll get the white flag this time, or this will be second to last.
I believe Guy Anger did just start lap number 29, and that was 2 laps to go. So we'll be getting the white flag when Anger makes his way around the start-finish line on this lap. So 2 to go now on the racetrack. The clock will expire under the next lap. So 31 laps will be completed here at the Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit. And here's the battle between Raichev and Silcock still going on between 2 GT4 cars. That's Dennis Lemke behind in the GT3. Here comes Silcock to the inside of Raichev. Very close, almost making contact. Only about an inch between those two. They keep the wheels under both of them. Raichev keeps the overall spot. They're battling for 34th overall, currently on the racetrack.
Yep, and here's that battle back there in GT4 Pro between Aliu and Ublev. Ublev looks to the outside. I don't think there's a pass there for him, but he has a look. Anyway, Ublev once again looks to the outside. Don't think he's going to be able to make it happen. Aliu has got the benefit of geometry here, but we've got a big braking zone coming up. Might be able to make something happen here down into this huge, wide hairpin. Not really a hairpin on turn 7, but yeah, Aliu able to get out ahead of Ublev. Ublev now might attempt a pass into 10, possibly, as we head to the Schumacher SS. Ublev definitely looking for a spot where he can do it, but yeah, not quite close enough here at 10. Next chance will be maybe into the hard braking zone of the chicane, but that's big risk. Big risk to send both cars around, if not just yourself. Oh no, Aliu touches the outside. He just got in the gravel a little bit and nearly lost the rear of the car. So even though Ublev was already close, Ublev can just about reach out and tickle Aliu's ears at this point. Ublev has a look, and then I think there was the tiniest of little taps there in the chicane. Now Ublev gets a little squirrely. He's going to try to go around the outside. Turn 15. Ublev all over the rear of Aliu's car.
This is the final lap. White flag is out for the GT4 field.
So now Aliu on the inside, Ublev on the outside as we go through turn 1, losing all that elevation. Aliu, I think, lost a lot of speed there. He did indeed. So Ublev up into the lead of GT4 Pro. The only question is whether he'll be able to hang on to it for the entire race, and I don't think he will if he continues to lose the car. These two cars side by side now in the Mercedes arena. What a battle!
They currently are making their way out of turn number 4 down into turn 5. Fast left-hander into turn 9, the forward curve. Turn 6, right-hander down into Dunlop. These two GT4 cars battling for the GT4 Pro Division win. Currently belongs to Aliu, but here comes Hristo Ublev. Don't mind the GT3 car on the inside. That is Kasiami going by both of them. And now that's going to put them side by side. Hristo Ublev to the inside. Going to quickly turn outside. The black door from Aliu. Trying to keep that spot. Through the back half of the Michael Schumacher S. Out of turn 9. We'll catch back to that GT4 Pro battle. But a dominating win for Gaiden Anger. He will win his second race of the season here at the Nurburgring.
Yeah, great win. Commanding performance once again. Here we are once again looking at Ublev on Aliu. They will very shortly be making the final turn, so if anything is going to happen, the time is now. Will Ublev attempt any kind of move into the chicane here? He looks at the outside of Aliu. Aliu defending. Side by side at the chicane.
Contact is made, and around goes the 326 of Ublev right around Aliu. The Green Fox Motorsport driver is going to go to victory lane in GT4 Pro. Contact made coming out of the final chicane, but he gets the win done.
I think that was a little bit of a mugging, Josh, if I'm honest. But these things do happen.
We always ask what drivers are willing to do for a win. That is what a driver is willing to do to grab himself a bigger lead in the point standings, as he'll extend that 3-point lead over Aliu once those points are calculated. But Gaiden Anger, another dominating day for him. Lewis Ward comes home in second after falling back earlier on in the race. Rallies his way back to a second place finish on the racetrack. And Andrew Broom, GT3 AM division winner. A great race from him. I don't think he ever lost the GT3 AM division lead the entire day for Devils Racing.
Yeah, no, great race. Well done. Looking here at Markov, who of course took the GT4 AM win. He was battling with the GT4 Pros for most of the day, and he indeed finishes in between Mandischek and Pondev, who are running third and fourth in GT4 Pro, so he's got quite a gap back to Silcock. Although we have seen Markov and Silcock have some great battles. I mean, I remember at Spa, those two cars were battling really well. So I expect to see even more battling yet to come.
So Anger, Broom, Ublev, Markov, your 4 division winners on the day. And that is going to make each of these points division championships even more intense as we wait to grab your GT3 Pro results. Gaiden Anger grabs the win there. Lewis Ward in second. Matthias Beer in third. Stellan Lindberg in fourth. He had contact a little bit earlier on and fell back a little bit. Still got away with top 5 finish. And rounding out your top 5 is Ross Deal. Now taking a look at the top 5 of the GT3 AM division. Andrew Broom grabs the win there. Tom Bingham in second. Julian Martinson in third. Dennis Lemke fourth, with Phil Reagan rounding out your top 5 of the GT3 AM category. Hopping down into GT4 Pro, Hristo Ublev gets the win there in a last lap, last corner pass on Mergen Aliu. Piotr Matizak, Iskren Pondev, and Fabio Sherman rounds out your top 5 of GT4 Pro, and your 5 GT4 AM division drivers are Daniel Markov, Mark Silcock, Vasil Angelov, Boyko Shapov, and Pontus Offerstrom, who unfortunately did not start the race at all. So we only had 4 GT4 AM drivers running on the racetrack. And a quick reminder to anybody who was in this race, hop into our Discord. We want to talk to you in a post-race interview, especially if you finished in the top 5 of your respective divisions. So head over to the chat room of our live stream on YouTube, or into the description of our live stream here on YouTube. You can click the link to join the Discord and make your way into here and into our interview waiting area so we can talk to you here in our post-race show. But Jim, what an exciting race here from the Nurburgring. I don't think we were expecting anything different.
No, absolutely not. I mean, we said it right at the top. It was going to be nuts. And indeed, it was. What a ride. I'm just looking at the driver chat here, and it looks like Grauer is a little bit annoyed with some of the on-track behavior of Jovisa. So it'll be interesting to see how that sort of rivalry develops over the course of the season. Of course, plenty of races left to go, as you detailed. All great tracks. Looking forward to those. Come on, drivers, come talk to us. What do we got to do here?
Yeah, we are looking for some interviews here in the post-race show, but I do want to really quickly bring up just sort of those penalties, because a lot of people are going to say that some drivers should get some penalties for some of the incidents that happened here. All incidents that are reported to our Apex Racing League admins are fully reviewed on the replay files, and they will get their proper assessment. And any penalties we'll have for you next week here on the broadcast, so you can exactly know what's going on in terms of penalties, both on the track and off. So we'll keep you updated with all of that. But in exactly 1 week's time, we'll be going on for round number 4 of the championship. We make our way into Sebring, and we're going to preview round number 4 in a bit, but I wanted to get back to the point standings, because Jim, when we came into this round, we had 1 point separating the GT3 Pro Division leaders, a tie for the GT3 AM Division Championship. We had 3 points separating the GT4 Pro Championship before we headed into this race, and a 3-way tie for the GT4 AM category points when we made our way into this race. And you can see all the pre-race points on your screen there from each of our respective divisions. We'll get them updated for you, and you can see right as they're updated on apexracingleague.com, and just click on active leagues and then ARL GT Trophy Season 1, click on standings, and you can see the full standings once they're updated. But Jim, what we saw with the finishes here, the shakeup in the points is going to be huge. We're going to see some tiebreakers. We are going to see some new faces at the top of these division standings. Do you see any championship favorites starting to peek their head through? I think right now you could make a solid pick for 3 or 4 per division of championship favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to have surprises as we continue to go through the season, as we get to tracks. You know, we see it every time, which is what makes this so great. We're going to continue to see tracks where certain people have a little bit more, a little bit more verve for that particular track. Like, I think the Hellraisers today, just really at the beginning of the race, all of their drivers look like they just had this track absolutely dialed. You know, Lindeberg, Helm, and those guys. It seemed to me like they just had this they just knew this track so well, and we're doing so well. And I think we'll continue to see that. For the people who love the American tracks, I think the Watkins Glen boot layout is going to be big for them. So it's just, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we were talking about whether we thought there were going to be shakeups today, and my answer was an emphatic yes. And I think we'll continue to see those. Just, we have so many cars, so many ways to earn points, fast guys in the AM category who are racing with the pros. Yeah, it's just, It's going to continue to be this exciting for every example, for every stop in this series.
And speaking of those stops, we have 4 stops left, 4 rounds of action here in the Apex Racing League GT Trophy. Next week, we're at Sebring. Then we go to Road America, then Barcelona, then Watkins Glen. 4 completely different racetracks. I mean, Sebring is bumpy for a lot of the straightaways as it was built on an old airport runway. Road America, very unique in that it's one of the most technical road courses, as it is almost all heavy braking zones and 90-degree corners. Barcelona, obviously one of the most famous F1 circuits, long straightaways, technical sector corners, and Watkins Glen with the boot as very historic racetrack there, very unique compared to the other 3. So we have 4 unique tracks coming up, and right now the common denominator seems to be those fast guys in each division are fast across the board of these tracks, but coming into these final rounds, it's really going to be a test for these division points leaders.
Yeah. Well, certainly you would expect people with a little bit more experience to be a little bit faster, and we've definitely seen that. But just like today, when at Spa, we saw the battle between Markov and Silcock. Silcock finished a little bit down. People just have good luck, and they have good days and bad days. And what it means for us as spectators is we never know what to expect, but we know there's going to be a lot happening. That we know that Dennis and you and I are all going to be just barely hanging on to try to stay on top of the race.
Well, we will see all of you here, and it looks like we are having an interview. Dang it, he just left the interview waiting room. No, he's back. We have Andrew Broom, your GT3 AM class winner, and he left again. We were so close. Andrew, if you're listening, come back. You're right there.
He's just teasing us. It's
he
all
clearly
a trick.
is. Oh, well, we had our GT3 AM class division winner, Andrew Broom, in the interview waiting room, I believe, for maybe 5 seconds, and I was just about to pull him in, and then he left. So, I'm going to do the outro wrap-up, and he's back. He's back. Here we go. We got him. All right, GT3 M-Class Division winner Andrew Broom now joining us. Andrew, welcome to the commentary box. Great day for you, leading from the outset, qualified on the pole for GT3 M, and you walked away with the win here at the Nurburgring.
Yeah, it was good. I didn't realize any of you were in here. I thought I was a bit late. I got off to a good start. I had a couple of the pro drivers in between me and Tom, so I knew he was the one to watch. And as the race went on, it was pretty good. It was just a little bit hairy at the end on that last lap, battling with a couple of people going like 3 wide. I thought, there's no way I'm risking that. Sod it.
And we're heading into more rounds of this championship, and you came in to this round with a tie for the points lead with Tom Bingham. Obviously, you finished ahead of Tom Bingham. You're going to break that tie, keep the points lead. Are you focusing on that championship early here as we head into the back half of the season?
It's still really early days. I'm just literally taking, sounds a bit of like a cliche, one race at a time. But as the closer we get towards the end, obviously I will keep an eye on the results. But yeah, there's a couple of fast drivers in my division anyway, so it could be anyone's any week. But no, I'm happy with the start of the season. I can't really ask for much more. Kept everything clean, and we'll go from there.
And how confident are you heading into Sebring, a very unique track compared to Spa, Interlagos, and this week the Nurburgring? We're heading to a track, a lot of bumps, a lot of difficult corners. Are you confident at Sebring? Do you think you can grab home 2 in a row?
Hey, let's hope so. I haven't done it as much as the Nurburgring. I did do a Nurburgring a few times last year in the VRS Endurance Series, and I think in the Sprint Series. But I didn't do Sebring, but I'll have to get a little bit of practice in this week, and we'll see how we go.
Well, anyone else you would like to thank here on Apex Racing TV?
Yeah, no worries. Thanks. Yeah, thanks again. It's a great broadcast as always. I'll give it a watch afterwards.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew Broom, your GT3 AM Class Division winner. And that's going to do it for us here from the Nurburgring. Round number 3 of the Apex Racing League GT Trophy is concluded. Round 4 coming up exactly 1 week's time here on Apex Racing TV. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and come on back for that. For Dennis Branch, Jim Hodgson, I am Joshua Lee, and we are saying good night from the Nurburgring.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.